Hi, my name is Melinda Prestash, and today I will be discussing in-groups and out-groups in society through the use of stock photos I found on the internet. So what are in-groups and out-groups? So an in-group and out-group is essentially exactly what it sounds like. It's pretty simple. For an in-group, it's where they feel a sense of belongingness, where they can feel a sense of dignity through a close relationship. Or they feel a sense of hostility or even competition, which is when you're part of an out-group. Essentially, you feel kind of outcasted or shut out from the group you probably desire to be into of that in-group. And so to expand on the in-groups, in many aspects of our life, we consider ourselves to be a part of a group where we root our identity from, where we find things we have in common with one another, where we find that we have things in common with our beliefs, our values, and many aspects such as that. Examples where in-groups can associate from would be like primary school and college. I feel we root our friendships from day one in middle school or even elementary school, and that's kind of where we find ourselves and build ourselves up to. And then into college, also associates at work, country clubs, and even sororities and fraternities in college. Through these social outlets, we explore a consciousness of kind where we find important commonalities that we share within the group, as I said, whether it be beliefs, values, traditions, or things that we just like. So these are the pictures I decided to use. In the upper right, all things in common, exactly as I said before. They just kind of show, like, in a drastic manner, like what in-groups and out-groups kind of feel like. You have a group where they all kind of look like they have something in common, and then the out-group is just kind of like outcasted and different. Maybe they don't fit in, or maybe they don't meet the criteria to be in that in-group, like Batman and Spider-Man, or Goldfish and the Black Goldfish. And so I also wanted to kind of touch on some things that can affect in-groups, such as social class, like depending on what social class you fall under, whether it be the capitalist upper class, middle class, or even working class, your socioeconomic status can have effect on those you associate with, where the main thing you have in common is your income. So these are some pictures I wanted to use that kind of just highlight some of the aspects of social class, where you can see Einstein is laughing at social class being the ability to disguise your individual unique ability, or the funny little cat. We're not even in the same social class. I feel that so many people associate within their own social class that they kind of outcast those that may be inferior to them or even superior, that they feel maybe an outcast to like the capitalist upper class, or even feel superior to the working class, wherever you stand on the pyramid of socioeconomic status. And just in the bottom left is just kind of like a word cloud, a social class. And I feel it kind of really touches base on in-groups and out-groups, where you can have things in common like associated status, or maybe you may be different, or even backgrounds. And there's division. And so also the baby's just kind of cute, and it really does sum it up. Like, social class does affect you and like how you live your life and who you associate yourself with. And so a common form of in-groups I also want to touch base on is country clubs, where they have formal boundaries. Not all do, but for right now, country clubs are a type that do, that have distinctly defined criteria to be a part as a member. And this could be considered restricted in that they're not very loose with their criteria in allowing in who can be a part and who cannot. In order to become a part of a country club, membership fees can range from thousands to 50,000. And because money is a determining factor in becoming a part of this type of in-group, you can quickly find access to only the wealthy, while excluding those who may be a part of a different social class that couldn't afford to be a part of such a group, maybe from the working class or even middle class. So negatively speaking, this can be considered an indirect form of classism. With being a part of a group such as a country club can come a sense of ethnocentrism. As I just said before, you can feel a sense of superiority above those below you, and it just kind of brings about an environment of that. And so these pictures kind of represent the country club and like the typical golfers of rich men. And so yeah. And while we're on the note of in-groups and ethnocentrism, Greek life, I feel, in college is a huge common in-group that we can really relate to or most commonly exposed to as we're all in college and can bring about many things, including outgroups. And so I use some of these pictures that it's so true that you don't simply join Greek life. There's a lot more to that, positive and negative parts of that. And I just thought it was kind of funny to use John Stamos. On a scale of yogurt to John Stamos, how Greek are you? And just kind of other pictures I'd associate with some Greek life. And so to touch base on that, ethnocentrism is essentially the practice of judging all other cultures by using your own. And although in-groups can create a sense of social cohesion and inclusiveness, they try to create a culture of something that discourages ethnocentric beliefs. In the end, they really foster that ethnocentric belief. Even if they don't try to, it ends up happening anyways. And I feel the perfect example is Greek life. So to dive in a little deeper, while they do give back to the community through philanthropy and community service and growing in brother and sisterhood to encourage anyone, regardless of where they come from, who they are, to join, the extremeness of being in an in-group highly propels those to feel part of an out-group, even inside a frat or sorority. Some common actions that reflect our racism and classism. And so I did some research and I found that Cleo Chang, who's a contributor to the Century Foundation, discusses in her article Separate but Equal, just kind of touching base on Greek life in Princeton University, how white and higher income students are much more likely to join fraternities and sororities, with 77% of sorority members and 73% of fraternity members being Caucasian, compared to only 47% of the student body itself. So not only this, but less than 5% of Princeton Greek life members were from lower or middle class families. And this isn't to say that all Greek life is like this throughout every college, but it is a very strong example that can resonate with the majority. It is evident here how being a part of an in-group such as this can perpetuate indirect exclusion, causing those of lower social status to be prevented from joining because they can't afford it. And even if they try to, it becomes such a difficult thing to where they have to eventually drop out. But there is some good to these in-groups. While some in-groups can be very exclusive and strict with their criteria, there are other types of in-groups that are very loose, such as friendships or even ministries. And to touch base on those, friendships don't have guidelines for being apart, but instead are rather laid back and vague. Same can go for ministries. There's no qualifications one must have to join a ministry, such as the one I'm in, and it's called Crew. In fact, it's a non-denominational where anyone can desire or who desires to learn more about God and be a part of a Christ-centered community is encouraged to be with us and join us. So yeah, the upper picture is a picture of me and some people from Crew, and the bottom is just of friends. Just kind of shows just a picture of like what friendship looks like. And so what's the point? Well, the main topic is in-groups and out-groups, focusing on common in-groups in today's society, which allows us to better understand what they can insinuate, whether it be positive or negative. So these are some cited sources, and thank you for watching.